And I mean, probably must be kind of bittersweet at the moment when you're getting ships back out there, seeing the return to smiling passengers, but then seeing the rise of the Delta variant, particularly in areas such as Florida. How are you navigating it, Jason?
Yeah, first, really happy to be here. And of course, we are absolutely ecstatic now that we have over half of our fleet back into service and watching that flywheel accelerate. Certainly, the variant is the topic of the day, but our ships are operating, our guests are having an incredible experience. We're seeing very modest, really almost nil cases on our ships. And so while the variant is out there, overall, we're seeing bookings and we're seeing the experience accelerate.
It's interesting. You said almost nil cases. We are getting some questions that I believe there were about 6 positive cases on one of the ships. How do you handle situations like that? Are customers feeling safe this time around on cruises, despite maybe some cases?
Yeah, well, we've spent the past 16 months really working with our Healthy Sail panel as well as other agencies to really try to perfect, to the best of our ability, our protocols. And what we see is those protocols are working in combination with vaccination. So yes, here and there are cases that occur, but overall, what we're seeing is that they are a fraction of what we're seeing on a day-to-day basis in society. And that's because of those protocols combined with vaccinations.
All right, so there's a lot of work here to do, and you seem to be doing it, Jason, over there at Royal Caribbean. I assume this also has to come at a cost here. I mean, the additional protocols and the additional safety measures have to certainly be weighing to some extent here on the company. And I'm wondering, has it gotten to a point where it's significantly affecting margins? And if so, what is the company doing to try to mitigate that?
So I think first, we've taken the health and safety of our guests and crew very serious in our entire history. So a lot of these protocols are really just enhancements with really having minor cost increases. There are some costs as it relates to testing and getting our crew back up and running and vaccinated and so forth that we're incurring. But what we see is as time is going on here, the cost of those costs are reducing, and we feel they're very manageable, and we think that they will begin to kind of evaporate over time. On the other side is organizationally, we have really focused on reshaping our costs and improving our margin profile as we return to service.
Jason, how is it on the hiring front, on the labor front? We've had so much anecdotal evidence of friction, of people not wanting to come back to work at the moment. How have you found it on the ground?
Yeah, well, we have about 75,000 amazing crew member and shoreside employees. And I know this might be a surprise, but we have had no issues generating demand from our crew to come back onto our ships. Over the past several weeks and months, we've been on and off of our ships, and see their smiles and appreciation to get back out there and do what they do best, which is delivering world-class vacations and bucket list experiences and putting smiles on our guests' face is what they love to do. And there's plenty of demand for those crew members to come back, and we're really happy to welcome them back.
Jason, as CFO, you are keenly aware of balance sheet dynamics. Talk to us. Since the pandemic, of course, in March 2020, you've raised, I believe, about $13 billion. You're sitting on a decent liquidity cushion, but how are you thinking about these debt markets going forward with yields so low, with rates so low? Could you tap them more?
Yeah, well, we certainly have benefited from a healthy capital market environment. And yes, we have raised about $13 billion over this period of time. We are very focused to get back to pre-COVID levels, whether that's earnings, whether that's ROIC, but also to have the balance sheet we had before. Having that investment grade level, unencumbered balance sheet really allowed us to weather this meteor that hit our industry. And that's what we're focused on doing and prioritizing our capital to get back there as soon as possible.